Today we're talking about how to charge premium pricing as a consultant. One of the first things I want to talk to you about is the concept of leverage. I know this won't be new to a lot of you, but it's certainly revolutionized both our consulting practice and many of our clients' consulting practices. Low leverage businesses need a lot of labor, a lot of resources. Typically, they have a very low gross margin. One of the reasons you see out there, like software companies have this ridiculous valuations, it's not because the valuations are just ridiculous. It's because they're very high leverage businesses. Once you create the software, you can charge over and over and over for it many times. Conversely, if you look at a business at the other extreme, like let's say a restaurant, that's a very low leverage business. You make a meal once, and you get paid once, and everybody wants a customized version. It's high labor, very low gross margin. Conversely, and what I've kind of been obsessed with over the years is high leverage businesses. So how can we create the intellectual property once or a few times and then charge over and over and over for it? And that's one of the things that I've been teaching coaches and consultants and marketers over the years, how to build a high leverage consulting practice. And it's something that a lot of consultants get wrong. A lot of consultants basically create a job for themselves where they're having to charge per hour. How do we charge premium pricing? Well, the first key element is we need to get results, because if we're charging people money and we're not helping them get results, that's essentially another way of saying a scam, right? I'm sure nobody here is wanting to scam anyone or anything like that. So what we want to do is really help people get results. And that's really what we're going to be going over today. We're also going to talk about a small snippet of what we cover in the certification program about how do you get those results. So how do you create actionable ideas that you can implement right now in terms of pricing, packaging, all of those sorts of things. We want to get away from pay us per hour or pay us per month or whatever it is. And we want to think about what is it that people are actually buying. Are they buying more leads? Are they buying more clients? Are they buying losing weight and building muscle or whatever it is? Too many times we shine the spotlight on ourselves and we say, we do this, and when you work with me, you'll get this and all of this sort of thing. So what we want to be really clear about is what's the actual result that people are buying. The next component is pricing. So how do we structure our pricing so that it's high leverage and so that it really hits the three things that I want to hit? So number one is I want business to be fun, right? I don't want to dread Monday mornings. I want business to be fun. So I really want it to hit that. Next, I want the clients to really value what I do. So I want them to be happily pay a lot for what I'm doing. And lastly is profitability. It's great to produce results for people and it's great to have a lot of fun, but if you're making no money, that's going to suck. So we want to structure our pricing and packaging properly. And then we talk about credibility. How do we get someone to trust us before they know us? Because, like our friends, our family, people who know us well, we've got credibility with them. There's trust, but how do we establish that with somebody who's just met us or who doesn't know who we are or who sees some of our work out there? So that's what we're going to be talking about there as well. And also confidence. How do we confidently deliver what we've got to offer? Because a lot of times that's a key part of what people are buying. People are buying confidence from us. And if we're not confident in delivering our program, our coaching, our consulting, that's going to flow onto the client. That's definitely going to impact your positioning and your pricing and what you can possibly charge. So let's talk about producing results. Two ways of doing it that I see. So number one is do it yourself. Trial and error, try and figure it out, make all the mistakes, all of those sorts of things. Now, that's fine. That's definitely a way to do it, but that's difficult, that's expensive, that takes a long time. The other way to do it is using frameworks that already work, frameworks that are already successful, that already have a proven methodology behind them. And so if you want to be able to confidently offer a result out there, if you can use a framework that's already working, that people already like, already know, already trust, that's going to help you a long way to helping people get results and also being confident in delivering those results. One of the biggest mistakes I made early on was trying to figure out how to do everything myself. And I spent 10 long years doing this the dumb, long, difficult way, which was trying to do it through trial and error. It cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. It took me a decade to do. And now whenever I want to achieve something, I see who's got the framework that works, and I just pay them whatever they're asking to get it done. It's the best shortcut in life that I've ever seen. I do that now from a nutrition perspective. I do that from a fitness perspective. I do that from a business perspective. If I've got a business problem I need to solve, I find who has solved that problem, who's got a framework for solving that problem, and I seek them out. So rather than doing what a lot of coaches do is like, they get on a call and they're like, okay, what do you need help with today? There's no framework. It's just loosey-goosey, and they're showing up on a call, charging per hour, whatever else. Whereas if you're leading people, you're using a framework, you're right, okay, today you're here. Today we need to work on this. That's going to create much more confidence, both for you and a result for the client, which is super, super important. Next is a clear offer and a game plan. So this is an example from our own coaching program. So a lot of times we used to be on a call with someone and they'd say, all right, how does the coaching program work? And then we would explain it and things like that. But we created this visual guide, and this massively increased the clarity with which we could communicate what our program is all about. We could say, hey, first, we start with a detailed diagnostic. Then we do a gap analysis. Then we help you build your team. We upskill your team. We'll work on 90-day goals. Then we create a strategic plan, which is very much around the one-page marketing plan. Then we work on a tactical plan. And then finally, we manage and measure metrics. And this is now a game plan, right? So we're not getting on a call with a client and we're like, okay, Bob, how's your week going? What would you like to work on today? That's the client driving that program. And you're not going to be able to retain clients for very long doing that. And it's frankly not going to get them a result. That's a very loose structure. But if you get on a call and you say, right, today we're working on your one-page marketing plan, or today we need to figure out your team, and you're driving that process because you've now got a framework, you've got a roadmap. So we know, and we've mapped out very clearly, what does call one look like for a client? What's call number two? What's call number three? Claire's been a key part of this, and she's worked with our coaching team to do that. Maybe Claire, can you say a few words around structure?
Yeah, so I think it's really important if you're a consultant that when you're speaking to clients on a sales call and you are charging premium pricing or you want to charge more, that it's very clear, especially for a visual learner, to have something that shows steps 1 through whatever. We want to make it as simple as possible. Think about the simplest steps that you could walk prospective clients through in getting them a result, and show them something visual like this on the call. Having a visual is really important on a sales call. And any questions about how we came up with this or how this might be applicable to you, let us know.
I'm always looking out for, when I'm speaking to someone, when that light bulb is going off. So when I see that head nodding, when I see verbal feedback, and having a visual framework, I think it helps you explain your offer so much better. And if we were to go in detail, this is what our offer looks like. So we've got books, we've got a course, a group coaching program, we've got a one-on-one coaching program, and then we've got a certification program. So we've basically got programs all spanning the whole gamut. And so we can explain this very clearly. Again, this is not just a loose structure. This is a structured program. So people know exactly what they're going to get, and we're guiding them through. People want to be led, right? If you're going to be a coach, a consultant, you're a leader. Here's the thing that I've found is that most business owners, everybody says yes to them. All of their staff say yes to them, all of their vendors and things like that. And so if you can be that person in their life who says, no, you're not actually heading in the right direction, this really doesn't make sense, they really appreciate that. And so a key part of that is having this structure and having the program to really drive that through. Let's talk hunting versus farming. So many times I see coaches and consultants hunting for new business. And look, there's nothing wrong with hunting. Hunting is part of business, but farming is so much more pleasurable. Farming is where we plant seeds and where we water, we nurture, and then we have a predictable harvest. And from a coaching perspective and a consulting perspective, Hunting is you seeking people out, cold calling, sending out messages on LinkedIn, trying to get people to book discovery calls or book strategy calls, and like just pushing. You know, if I had to wake up every morning and think, okay, I've got to make 20 cold calls today, I would hate my life. That's not what I want to be doing. Farming is very pleasurable. I wake up every day, I open my email inbox and there's opportunities. There's people who want to join coaching. There's people who want to join certification. There's people who want me to speak or be a guest on their podcast or whatever. And that's because we've got assets out there that are attracting people to us. So do we do hunting? Of course. Part of our strategy is hunting, but we're not fully reliant on being a hunter, because being a hunter is hard. Sometimes you go out there, and you come out empty-handed. And so that really sucks if your business is depending fully on hunting. So a large part of what we do in the certification program is work with graduates to help them build things like a cornerstone piece of content, things that are going to attract the right clients to you. So yes, you can mix that in with a hunting strategy, but wouldn't it be cool if people were contacting you? So they said, hey, I saw that guide you put out there, or that video series, or whatever it is. I was really fascinated by it. I'd love to talk further. That's super, super powerful.
Just to restate, or kind of in a different way, what we're talking about here is a really high level concept about pricing. It's so much easier to have a conversation and to charge more if people are coming to you versus you going out to them. And that has to do with direct response marketing, which is the cornerstone of Allan's book, of what we're teaching in the course and the certification. You want to have the infrastructure set up for direct response marketing, which is a cornerstone piece of content, which gets people to raise their hand, a way to capture their information, and a way to stay in touch with people until they're ready to buy, to put it in its simplest form.
So let's talk pricing. This is such a key part, because people think about pricing only from their perspective very often. People are like, okay, it costs me this much to deliver the service. I want to make a decent margin, and so this is what I'm going to charge. This is the worst way to set pricing possible. So let's talk about some of the various ways that you can price your services. Number one is hourly. You can say, look, I'm going to be $100 an hour or $150 an hour, whatever it is. You can make it a subscription. So it's a month to month, or it might be a contract subscription. You might say, look, it's going to be $1,000 a month for 12 months, and you get the people to sign a contract. Another way is just a lump sum. So where you say, look, it's $30,000 and we're going to work together for a year, and we're going to achieve XYZ result. Then you could do a lump sum with a split pay. You could say, look, it's going to be $30,000 for the year, or it's going to be $5,000 a month if you split pay, or you might just divide it equally, or whatever it is. You might do a revenue share. Now, this is a very advanced strategy. I don't recommend that you start with this, but if you work in a very specific industry, and that you know that industry inside out, and you know that if you implement these 5 things, they're going to massively increase their revenue. So you might say to them, look, I'm not going to charge you anything. I'm just going to take a percentage of the increase in revenue that I help you create. So this is a more advanced strategy, and I don't recommend that you start with this, but it's certainly a really compelling offer if you've got a very specific industry, you've got a very specific process that you can roll out, and that works really well for that industry. Equity. So you can say, look, give me a piece of your business and I'm going to help you increase that. And again, that's similar to the revenue share, but you're now essentially becoming almost like a partner in the business, and they're giving you a slice of the business. Again, a more advanced strategy. So the natural question a lot of coaches, consultants, and marketers ask is, how much can I charge? And this is a question that I had for a long time. When I first started coaching and consulting, I'm like, I wonder if someone would pay me $500 a month for my coaching and consulting. And this was long before the book, long before I was well known. And then I started getting people signing up for $500 a month. And then I'm like, I wonder if someone would pay $1,000 a month. And I'm like, pretty unlikely, but I wonder if that'll happen. And surprise, surprise, people started paying $1,000 a month. And then I'm like, I wonder if people would pay $2,000 a month. And of course, people started paying $2,000 a month. And now we actually charge $3,000 a month for our one-on-one coaching. And we're probably going to raise that up to $3,000, $4,000, or $5,000 a month. Now, the reason that price is relatively inelastic when it comes to coaching and consulting is because it's not a commodity service. Never has anyone said, look, Allan, I'm thinking about hiring you and your team to coach us versus this other guy. Your competition is not your competition. Your competition is people doing nothing. So I never, ever worry about competitors. In fact, I help promote competitors. I often have other authors which are technically competitors, but we have them on, we have them speaking to our audience, we do JVs together, we speak to their audience. And so kind of a lot of people are like, isn't it weird that you're helping other competitors or whatever? They're not my competitors. My biggest competitors are people trying to do it themselves or not at all. That's what I'm really competing against. And so the way that I structured our one-on-one coaching program, and when I say I, me and the team, number one, we want to get people results. Number two is we want to disconnect hours from revenue. So one of the first things that we did is we went to an unlimited coaching model. Now, a lot of people think, hey, this is a big risk. Like, what if people are using my coaching services too much and I'm spending all of these hours? Well, we put guidelines in place. So we're saying, look, we're not just getting on a call with our coaching program just for the fun of it, just to shoot the breeze. No. We're getting on a call to go over a particular process, and now it's your job to go away and implement that process. So when we're speaking to prospective clients on our coaching program, very often the first question that they ask is, how many calls do I get each month? And our response is, look, you're going to get as many calls as you need to get the result, because after working with us for 6 or 12 months or however long you're going to work with us, you're not going to care how many calls we did. You're going to care what results you got. You're not going to care if say, oh, this is so awesome, I got 4 calls a month or 10 calls a month. No, you're going to say, hey, I managed to improve revenue, I managed to fix our marketing process or whatever. You're not going to care how many calls we have. And so really what we do is we have an unlimited amount of calls as long as someone is actually implementing what they need, because some clients implement much faster, some clients implement much slower. When we switched to an unlimited coaching model, I actually had a reduction in the amount of calls that I was taking, because if we had a standing call weekly, we would just have a call just because we had a scheduled call. But now with the unlimited coaching model, where I say, hey, book me when you need me, people who are slower in implementing might book a call once a month or a couple of times a month. And people who are faster in implementing, great, we got on a call when we need to, we rock it. And so they're able to work at the pace that they need to. And I found that a really good model. And it also disconnected hourly from pricing, because if I say, look, it's $3,000 a month, and you're going to get 4 calls in the month, what's everyone going to do? They're going to divide 3,000 by 4, and they're going to go, wow, your hourly rate's $750 an hour. That's outrageous. Whereas if I say it's unlimited, you can't really do that. And that feels like a lot more value, even though we're probably actually going to get on coaching calls much less because we don't have a standing call. So I think that's a really powerful model. And it's also focused, again, on the results we want to get the clients. It's not about us, hey, we're XYZ per hour. The other day I went to get some lunch and I saw that they had little fruit cups. And so there's a little fruit cup, I think it was like $7 or $8 or whatever, and had a little bit of watermelon, a couple of slices of banana, a little bit of apple or whatever. And they were charging like $7, $8 for it. And I thought to myself, you know, if I was to go to a grocery store and buy a banana, I don't know, how much is a banana? Maybe less than $1. Then I buy an apple, probably less than $1.02 or whatever. I couldn't charge $8 for a banana or $8 for an apple or whatever. But someone's taken a fraction of an apple, fraction of a banana, fraction of a watermelon, called it fruit salad. And now you can charge much, much more for it than the components cost. And that's how I think of pricing and packaging a powerful results-oriented program, is fruit salad. So we're not just selling an hour of time. We're not just selling a course. We're not just selling access to a back catalog. We've got all of these components. We're creating a fruit salad, and really we're creating something that's going to help people get a result. That's the most important component of it.
I do get a lot of questions, particularly from certification participants who want to know, okay, when I'm done with the program, what could I charge as a marketing consultant is a question. Obviously, this is location dependent. So someone in the Philippines would charge different than somebody in London, say. But if we're going by an approximate number here in the United States, we would say starting with something like $1,500 a month on retainer for just consulting. So that's just a place where we would suggest starting, because people are always asking an actual number. But like Allan said, we've increased our pricing over the years based on testing the market and making sure that we're providing consistent results for our clients month over month. These are all a month-to-month contract.
We don't really lock anyone in for a minimum amount of time. We probably could, but I don't see the need because, again, we're delivering results, and I don't want someone to feel like they're locked in and we're artificially locking them in. I want people to stay in the program because they're loving the program. Here are a couple of ways that you could potentially share a program that you could potentially even charge like a one-off $10,000 off. So you could create an audit of a website, audit of social media channels, plan out their strategy using the one-page marketing plan as a tool, help them define their target market, do a messaging workshop. Look at almost any small business and they don't have even the basics in place. If you could help them create a good lead generating website, clean up their social channels, get rid of all the nonsense most people have on their social media, help them figure out, okay, who's my target market and what's a good message that's going to land with our target market? That is so valuable. And for you to charge $10,000, $15,000 just to help them with those foundations would be an absolute bargain.
This is real from somebody who just graduated from the certification program, and they've structured it a little bit differently. So I just wanted to show you guys different models. So what we just showed you is our model, our coaching program, which is not done for you. We pull in partners to write email sequences and rebrand websites and things like that. For her business, they are doing some done for you things. So she's breaking it up into the first 90 days is foundations. And I like the way she did this because I think it'll be very clear to clients, like how she's consulting them first, and then what she's doing that's the done for you part. But basically what she's offering here is the full infrastructure creation that someone will need before we start doing a lot of lead generating marketing activities. So I hope it's clear to everyone that they're actually going to work with the business owner and actually create the lead magnet and actually update the website. So she's got different people on her team that can do these things. And she's got copywriters who will write the welcome sequence and write the lead nurturing.
I love the second package as well that she's got here, which is lead capture and lead nurture. So she's going to help them create a lead magnet, update their website so that they're capturing leads. And most websites are just like glorified brochures. And then create an automated email welcome series, build lead nurturing. I think back to when I had my first business, when I was a dead broke IT geek, I had no clue what to do. If someone offered something like this, I would have grabbed it with both hands because I was breaking my head trying to figure out why aren't people buying? How do I attract attention? How do I capture leads? I'm trying to figure out the technology with autoresponders and things like that. And this is a powerful offer. We're just showing you examples of how you can structure your coaching and consulting. And here we're giving you examples of a marketing consultancy, but you could do this if you're an accountant, if you're a lawyer, if you're a doctor, if you're whatever. So whatever helps people get a result. So if you're taking someone from point A to point B, structuring a program where, hey, I'm going to get you this result using this process. And so you've got a predefined process that helps them get that result. I think that's incredibly powerful.
I'll explain the next one. These are all real examples. We had, I want to say 4 people in the last certification round that were accountants. Speaking of not being a commodity, so accounting, how can you add more value to what you're offering your clients already? And as not to be a commodity. This is a mastermind model. So one of the ladies before, she was planning to walk people through one-page marketing plan, like a marketing strategy set up within 2 days. And so this is something that we've done internally. Allan and I traveled around the US and did these in person. Linda was planning to offer this on the side of her accounting services to walk people through setting up a marketing plan, because like Allan said, none of her small business clients have real marketing knowledge. They haven't read the book. So she'll have the book with them, the one-page marketing plan. And we've given her all of the slides, the workbook that goes along with, this is all part of the certification, and the marketing emails templates that we've used to market our masterminds. So she's going to take everything we've given her in a turnkey and offer that. This is just an option to host 2-day workshops in person or virtually, where you could get a group of people together and help them create a whole marketing plan where you're working with a small group, like 5 to 10 people, to help them with the specifics in each square.
And isn't this so clever? Like most accountants are just a commodity. They do your tax return, they maybe help you with a bit of bookkeeping, whatever. Here's an accountant that's going to help you actually grow your business. That's going to help her create better accounting clients. So accountants want clients who are doing really well, who are making more revenue, making more money. And so she's now no longer a commodity accountant. She's now someone who actually helps them grow their business, not just do their tax return or whatever. So very clever, a great way to bolt on a compelling offer to what her core business is.
And then finally, another option is courses. So something that when we talk about leverage at the very beginning, obviously having a course, which is one-to-many versus one-to-one, as we're showing you these various models, is a great thing to do as a more kind of advanced, like probably people that are creating courses have already done a bit of consulting. They've already got their framework set up, and then they're creating a course model that somebody can purchase. But in this case, we had a guy in the last round of certification who does marketing for pharmacists, and he's using all of our frameworks and editing them for pharmacies and creating a course on the back of it. So we're talking about pricing, but we're also talking about our certification program. And so that's something you can do is you'll be licensed to use all of our frameworks, to copy them yourselves after we've been working on them for 6 years, and create them for your very specific target audience. So that's another model.
So that's another really powerful model where you create a course once and you charge over and over for it. I love those kind of businesses where you can create intellectual property once and then they create cash flow over and over. So let's talk a little bit about credibility, because that's one of the things that people struggle with, particularly when they're starting out as a coach, as a consultant, as a marketer. How do I get someone to know that I'm credible, that I know what I'm talking about, that I'm someone that can actually help them? Because quite frankly, that's something that's going to come up in prospect conversation. Who are you? What have you done? What have you achieved? Why should I choose you to work with me? And so a key part of credibility is, I think, showing them that you have created a framework, or that you use a framework that's already in the marketplace that's out there. So there are a few different frameworks that are out there. Like, for example, there's my friend Dave Jennings, who runs Systemology. There's my friend Mike McAllowitz, who runs Profit First certified consultants. There's Donald Miller, does Story Brand certification. So these are all frameworks that are out there that we know work well, that help people get a specific result. And of course, we've created the one-page marketing plan certification. So I firmly believe it's the best certification out there for someone who wants to become a coach, a consultant, a marketer. And so being able to say to someone, look, I've gone through a rigorous 12-week program where I've studied lead capture, conversion, all of these sorts of things, and showing them the proof that you've done that, I think goes a long way. People spend $50,000, $100,000 to do an MBA for this specific reason, and then that still does not give them the practical knowledge. It's funny, in our first round of certification, one of the people who did one-page marketing plan certification was actually a professor who teaches marketing at a university. And I asked her, I said, why are you doing the one-page marketing plan certification? She's, the stuff that we teach at university, it's not really practical. There's a lot of theory. They'll talk about all of this sort of theoretical stuff, and it's professors who've never actually done any marketing. And she wanted to take something that was actually practical and that she could implement straight away with her audience. And we've designed a certification that's really the most practical way to get up and running and show people that, hey, you're now backed by a framework that is actually working out there in the marketplace. As part of certification, we dive deep into the one-page marketing plan. So the one-page marketing plan is a great starting point, the book. But obviously, in a single 200-page book, we can't go deep into messaging. We can't go deep into target market. We can't go deep into retention and strategies and the tactical component of how to implement all of those sorts of things. So what we want to do is we really want to go deep. We spend 12 weeks going deep into all of these topics and really understanding them at a very deep level.
Pricing is something we cover in the certification. If anybody's interested in basically having all of our frameworks to help produce results for your clients, to have all the information about how to market your own business, how to structure a marketing consulting business, and have the credibility of our brand behind your brand, in addition to working with Allan and me live every week for 12 weeks, I'm happy to jump on a 15-minute call with any of you just to discuss like next steps in your consulting business.
We're inviting you all to the certification program. I'm so proud of this program because we've had now, I think, 5 or 6 cohorts of the program. And every time I get feedback from the participants, like, this has revolutionized my consulting practice. Before, I was working so many hours and maybe even making good money, but it's just been very labor intensive. And I've completely changed my business or changed my business model. And it's been a game changer for so many coaches and consultants and marketers. I encourage you to have a call with Claire and just figure out, is it a good fit? So I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll talk again real soon.